we're not efficient on offense. Couldn't get sustained drives going. Even when we did, different things, shot ourselves in the foot, either with, drop balls, overthrown balls, inefficient run game to our standards, and even had a penalty that stopped the drive as well. So we've got to be better than that offensively. We acknowledge that, and we'll get to work on that. Defensively, I think it was two different ball games. I think in the first half, I really felt UT San Antonio did an outstanding job on the perimeter, getting our guys chopped down and utilizing some of their outside runs. And I really felt in the second half, our defense responded, really played as well as they could play. They gave us about 4 opportunities with a short field offensively, and we didn't cash in offensively. So I was extremely proud of the way the defense responded after the first half of play, and hoping that trend continues forward. But we as a team, offensively and defensively, need to put more than just a half together here or a half together there. We need to play a collective game offensively and defensively and gel in that aspect. Again, it just comes back to practice. I told the team after the game, I don't have a magic wand in my pocket. It's really just going to come down to us, hard work, focusing in during the film sessions, focusing in during the meeting sessions and the teaching sessions with the coaches, working hard on the practice field, and then, translating that to the field. There's really no magic formula in football other than working hard. And, to our kids' credit, they've been doing that all year. They just need to piece that together and feel that feeling, understand what that feeling is, and then continue that. Sometimes you just got to do it before it happens.
Coach, only 5 home games on the schedule. Just the disappointment of starting off 0-2 at home this year.
Yeah, of course you want to win your home games. You want to win all your games, and the disappointing thing to me is that the crowd's been great. They've been very supportive. They've been very helpful, and our goal is to win all of our home games, and unfortunately we haven't this year. And again, we'll get other opportunities, and we need to take advantage of those. But I've been very pleased by the fan support from the UTEP fan base. Again, it just goes back to hard work. You need to emphasize it. The players need to believe in it, and then they need to go out and execute. So again, I don't think it's just something that you preach. I think it's something that you need to work at.
What about UTSA being only 4 years old? They are where they are.
Again, last week I likened it to when South Florida first came on the scene. Everybody's going, where did these guys come from? They were beating top programs. They had the benefit of just practicing a year together and lifting weights, and then they've been together for 3 years. So continuity is a big thing in football, and you have a group that stays together for a group of 3 or 4 years and having practice under their belt. They played like a team that had that type of experience. They got a senior quarterback that plays like a senior quarterback. They were very physical on both lines, and I really thought their secondary players were physical tacklers, and their perimeter offensive players were physical guys as far as blocking. So, I was impressed with that program. I knew, when you watch the film, you see how talented they are, and I think, again, Coach Coker's done a great job there, and I just tip my hat to him. They got after us Saturday, and in many instances, we didn't respond at the right times, and they got the best of us. Hard work, recruiting. We're light years away from a program like Boise State right now. So that's done over a period of time with recruiting, keeping the same offense and defensive system in place, keeping the same coaches in place. You can see with, Chris Peterson's staff, he's always done a good job of maintaining the same program. And that's continuity is huge in football. That the players come back next year and that are in the same defensive structure. They come back next year and they're in the same offensive structure, and they're hearing the same message from the same coaches. So I think that is, where programs like that have an advantage. And this being our first year, we need to really work hard to make sure that that happens here, and I think it'll benefit our program. Yeah, I think special teams has been pretty solid all year. Again, I see constant improvement from the two freshman kickers. I thought Rugel's punted well. I think he averaged 43.2. Maddox got his first and second field goal, and he's been 100% on extra point tries, and he's been very consistent on his kickoffs as well. The kickoff coverage units continue to impress for the second week in a row. The punt coverage units were impressive, and then everybody saw Autry Golden's return, and again, those things don't happen just by mistake. There was a lot of good blocks that sprung him. One in particular was Devin Cockrell, the freshman, came across the field and had a great effort block that sprung Autry. And one thing about Autry is he gets his foot in the ground and he goes north, which is very ideal for a kick returner. Watching the films of the previous games, it was one of those where you go, yeah, he's going to pop one here real soon, and he did Saturday night, and that was exciting to see.
You talked about UTSA special teams coverage before, so this was really nice.
Yeah, I felt going into the game they're extremely sound. Their coverage units were excellent, and the results, the teams they played, teams that had a lot of speed, like Oklahoma State and Arizona, it showed. And to pop one against a team like that just shows the explosiveness of Autry Golden. And he did a heck of a job on offense too. He averaged 6.5 yards a carry. So he was probably our best runner Saturday night, and he was certainly our best special teams player. We miss Nathan from, a rotation standpoint. There's certain plays that he runs that he does better than anybody else. We're hoping to have him back for this week. He really worked hard. He was frustrated. He wanted to play in that game. He was close to being ready to be playing that game, but he had no practice under him and he was still a little stoved up. So I think with a couple extra days rest and a full week of practice, we'll see Nathan Jeffrey back out there, and he helps our offense. I'm hoping. I really am. We got a better chance to get Nathan Jeffrey back this week than we do Golden, but there's still an outside shot. Bless you.
Coach, have you been happy with the effort you've been seeing on the field Saturday night for the team?
I've had no problem with the effort. I just consistency. I think the kids have battled back from every situation. You just go back to the first game. We were behind with 7 minutes left in the game, and the kids battled back to put it in overtime, give us a chance to win. The second game, it was a game at one point that could have went either way, and the kids took over the game, and they battled throughout. I think in this game, we really just got second quarter is what got us offensively and defensively. We had some 3 and outs from our own undoing on offense, and then they scored. They took advantage of it, and we were behind by 15. And at that point, again, I think the kids, especially defensively, could have said, here we go again. They didn't do that. In fact, their response was the exact opposite. So I've been pleased with the effort from the kids, not only on Saturdays, but throughout the week. And I was pleased with guys that have been stepping in for injured players, like Wes Miller and Richard Spencer and Jamard Reed and Adam Aiello got injured early in the game. Guys have been stepping in and really playing their best. And we need to continue to do that. And at some point, hopefully we're a completely healthy team. And if we're not, the other guys just need to continue to step up.
Is Spencer close?
He's been hobbled really since camp, and he is practicing now. But there's a difference between going out and practicing and then going full speed in the games and being able to change directions and do the things that you want to do. I know it's been a frustrating year for Spencer, just because I know he wants to be out there and contribute. Just know this, if he is healthy and he can't contribute, he'll be out there. So. They played Alabama extremely tough this past week. I think they held Alabama to 61 yards rushing, which kind of speaks for itself when you know what type of program Alabama is. It was 17-6 starting off in the fourth quarter, and then Alabama got some late scores. So they're a very balanced team. They got a good quarterback. He's another guy that can, if he has to, make plays with his legs. They have a very big and athletic offensive line. They run the ball efficiently. The quarterback really does a good job of distributing the ball. They got 5 receivers and tight ends that have over 100 yards receiving, which is pretty impressive. And they have 2 backs that have over 200 yards each. So they're a very balanced offense. Special teams wise, I would really liken them probably to like UT San Antonio. They very sound. Their punters over 40-yard average. They do a good job in their coverage units, and then they've got some explosive returners. So, again, special teams will be a big challenge for us. And then defensively, I already mentioned that they held Alabama to 61 yards rushing. They got a nose guard that's 330 pounds. That's extremely explosive and stout. There's a couple clips on that Alabama tape where he just drove their center back about 3-4 yards, which was impressive. They have a outside linebacker / defensive end, number 56, that has 8.5 tackles for loss and 3.5 sacks this early in the season. That's a lot of production. And then their leading tackler is their weak side linebacker, number 37, who can really run. And the thing that stands out, you look at their secondary, they're all over 6 foot. There's 6'1", 6'2", even 6'3" guys in there. They're a very tall, athletic secondary. So I think overall defensively, they're very solid. The thing that stands out to me is they've got good movement up front. They've had 21 tackles for losses, which, you put in 4 games. That's, 5 a game. That's pretty impressive from a tackle for loss standpoint. No, in fact, the opposite. I'd encourage Jamil to sometimes just pull the trigger and take off. Jamil would probably be the first one to stand up here and tell you he didn't have his best game the other night. He was off on a few throws. He was barely off on a few throws. And then decision-wise, we do some what you call read, option-type plays where he's either pulling it himself or handing it off. And he made a couple misreads there. There was a couple, tackle for losses where you sit there and go, that was probably the O-line. Really it was more of a bad read on the handoff. So experience is going to get him through that. The thing that I'm not worried about is I believe in the young man. He's as harder on himself than I am on him. So I think he's going to be the first one out there working hard to correct his mistakes. What I'd really like to see from Jamil is just relax and play ball and not press so much. I think he wants to do such a good job that he presses. And at that position, sometimes you just go out there and just let it hang out. You have a better chance. And he'll get experience with every game. I think he's going to get better and better and better. And, each new experience for him, he'll learn from. And I'm excited about Jamil Showers. He's one player that as I look at the program, what we're trying to accomplish, I'm all for a guy if he makes mistakes. I just don't want the guy that makes the same mistake twice. Myself as a coach, I'll make a ton of mistakes. But I always promise the players I'll try to never make the same mistake twice. And that's how I want this program to be. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. You're going to make errors, but just learn from them and don't make them again. Anybody else?
Coach, this is probably the real first road game in New Mexico. You had a really big crowd in your favor. How do you think the team is going to fare in a difficult?
Well, you got to respond in every environment. I always look forward to, playing on the road. A hostile environment, they get on your team. I think sometimes that energizes your team and gets them fired up. So the environment or where we're playing, I don't think that matters. I think we need to focus more on ourselves and what we need to do to accomplish to win the game. The opponent or the venue really is not what we're working for. We're trying to correct our own issues, our own problems, and be ready to go each week. I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Oh, are you referring to the bars or something? Not as a player. Maybe as a coach. My sins of the '88 still haunt me sometimes. No, I was always tucked in bed, ready for the game. Things were a little different back then. Thanks, Duke. I appreciate that. Anything else you want to bring up?
You're going to go back to cold weather?
I am, yeah. I've been in cold weather for the last 13 years, and 65 degrees sounds pretty nice to me, being a fat guy. So, any other questions? Okay, guys. Thank you.